do we have a question?
We do.
Madam?
Laykari.
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 Okay. It's definitely not like Meenakari or Adakari. And it's something that we all want to have adhikari on, but it's a little difficult. Laykari is, obviously we are talking about having a good sense of time, knowing exactly where the sun is. This is one thing that my father always used to say, "Beta, sun ko dekho." And so what did that mean? I mean, I'm still trying to decipher many hidden interpretations and meanings in that one line, "Sun ko dekho." It's not yet revealed totally, but I imagine in a basic sense that he meant that if you know where the sun is, working backwards, then you already know how much distance you have to cover. And keeping that in mind, you can also then make out what the terrain is, whether it's an uphill road or whether it's a curvy road, whether it's a downhill road or all combinations, and how you will traverse through it. So that is something that maybe he was referring to, one. And secondly, when you know the sun, you also in reference know where you are. And so when you know where you are obviously aware of which beat of the rhythm cycle that is. So if an automatic, a built-in recognition of that develops inside of you, that is in a way a beginning of trying to become a layakar. So it's important to have good timing. It's important to be aware of your position in the development of or the traveling of the rhythm cycle as it's laid out, and also knowing your destination and seeing on the map what that kind of road that is and how you will get there. I mean, sometimes you say, okay, I'm going to go from point A to point B and I'm going to take highway number so and so, and I'll get off on this road and go to this little town and have some, you go from Bombay to Pune. In the old days, stop at Khopoli, have biryani, or get into the train and go to Pune and stop at Karchat and have barata vadas, whatever. I mean, so those are things that you've already got in your head, you've planned it, and you know your destination is Pune. So yes, all this is easier said than done, but this is exactly where you need to be. So having said that, how do you take off, and how do you start off moving towards being a layakar? It's a question that has haunted a zillion rhythmists and instrumentalists. Some of it is natural born. You are able to find your way from one point of a city to another without having a map. It's a built-in something, or some places where you've been before, you go once and you already know the way again, how to get there, even in a strange city. So these are things that sometimes you have inside of you, certain DNA that makes it possible. But the other way, of course, is to be able to know your language. As they say in the world of acting, know your lines. You must know your lines. If you don't know your lines, you will be faltering along and trying to figure out what to say, or stammering through, when your turn comes to speak on the camera. So know your lines, and that in this sense means, know your vocabulary, know the language totally, understand the combinations and permutations that you can come up with in this language. And so that helps in the sense that if you're going 13, 14, 15, 16, da, da, gina, da, gatina, da, gina, da, gatina, gina, da, da, gina, da, gatina, gina. So that's a kaida. But if you know this and you know it inside and out, you also know that da, da, gina, da, gatina, gina, tina, da, gina, tina, what do I have left to get to the downbeat, to the sum. You are already aware of that. So if this kind of development happens, you develop your Laykari. Laykari is not necessarily put on the metronome and go take and play to that, or have the Laykari box stand on and play to that, because that will get you into a robotic system of playing. The human system is something else. When you get on the stage to play with, say, a Laykari player, if you're a Tabla player playing a solo, the Laykari player will start his Laykari and will be very good in timing. Even then, the fact is that his tempo will waver. There's a human thing about tempo. You, as a Tabla player, might be driving the tempo, going a little faster and faster. The harmony player, on the other hand, might be somebody who plays the Laykari more laid back and relaxed and drops the tempo slower. And then at times ebb and flow is different. Sometimes certain passage on the Laykari will speed up, at some point slow down, and so therefore the cycle would stretch like that. You as a Tabla player have to be aware of that human component in the timekeeping. Similarly, when you are a Tabla player and you're accompanying a sitar player or something, vocalist or whatever, your timing is also in question with that vocalist or sitar player or a dancer. How you're driving the tempo, or are you slowing it down, or you're keeping it straight, boom. And when it's your turn to play the utan, do you naturally speed up? All those things happen. So those are things to be considered. So there's many layers involved in being able to develop your understanding of layer. And then comes, understanding of what you've got in a matra. I think one of the things that I have learned is that I've tried to understand, and this comes not just from Indian drumming, but from Latin percussion drumming as well, or jazz drumming, is how to understand the elasticity between beat 1 and beat 2, and so on and so forth with other beats, So if you're going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and da da din na da da, quarter notes, da 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 din na da da din na, 8 notes, da da din na da da din na da da din na, triplet, da da din na da da din na da da din na da da, 16s, and da da din na 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 da 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 din na da 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 din na da 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 din na 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 da da din na da 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 din da da din na 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 da da din na. So developing the lay should not be a focus of yours to be visualized in a whole rhythm cycle. It should be visualized from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 at the most. So what you can accomplish in those 2 beats would establish your ability to be able to compress or expand the matra. And when you have developed that ability, you have started on your way to having some understanding of Laykari. And this is a subject that can go on and on forever, but your sense of timing being solid is the most important thing. What I did when I used to practice in my younger days, that I used to turn on the radio, what do you call it, radio Ceylon, in Mumbai in the late 50s, 60s, so on. And then songs would come on of great music composers and Lata ji singing or Rafi Saab singing, Kishore Da, Mukesh ji, everybody. They were all singing the songs. I would play a kaida, for instance, or a rela, or a chalan, or a on a song. And then the next song would come and I would play the same on the next song. The tempo may be different. And the way the song either slowed down or speeded up kind of gave me an idea of how the same pattern would emerge in different tempos, and then also how to treat it. So that was my basic understanding of playing compositions, and that's how I developed my portfolio of compositions like uthans and kaidas and tihais and relas and so on in different tempos. So then when I would get on and play on the stage with a sitar player or a sarod player, I would then know that at this tempo I'll play that, at that tempo I'll play that, and so on and so forth. So that was the beginning of how I developed my understanding of lay and my control over how I saw my travel through the beat zone to arrive at a concert, knowing what a sitar player does, they play in, and so on, and so and how to be ready to be able to play my compositions in those. So Laykari, again, a very detailed subject. It's hard to just speak about it in this manner, but just a short, take on it from me. And if there are other maestros watching or something, please chime in. And speaking of other maestros, I have to mention my dear Guru Bhai, Pandit Yogesh Samsi, on Wednesday, which I think is April 29th, my father's birthday. He's gonna do something on Instagram, and I think we'll all kind of call in and put in our 2 bits on that day. So I don't know what his Instagram address is, but check it out. I'm sure you guys are good at finding out. So any other question?
How do you improve the tonal quality of the bayan?